Carissimi fratelli e sorelle, con profondo dolore devo annunciare la morte del nostro Santo Padre Francesco.
It was the moment most anticipated by the faithful.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
Catholic World, brought to you by Newsnet.
The Vatican has just announced the death of Pope Francis. Senior Vatican official Cardinal Kevin Farrell said this in a statement just a few moments ago.
The statement reads, at 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his Church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with faithfulness, courage, and universal love, especially for the poorest and most marginalized. With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we commend the soul of Pope Francis to the infinite, merciful love of God. One and Tribune.
And of course, we saw Pope Francis looking frail yesterday as he blessed thousands of Catholics who had gathered in St. Peter's Square. Easter Sunday, of course, what a moment that would have been for many of those who were there.
He was the unexpected Pope, elected to the highest office in the Catholic Church despite being a relative outsider. Many thought a younger man would be chosen, but in March of 2013, Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio emerged as the 266th Pope.
Grazie tante dell'accoglienza.
He was the first Pope to come from South America, the first Jesuit, and the first to choose the name Francis, after St. Francis of Assisi. And like his namesake, he chose to live frugally, refusing to stay in the papal palace, opting instead to live in a simple Vatican apartment, often cooking his own supper. My people are poor, he said, and I am one of them. The son of Italian immigrants to Argentina, he joins the priesthood after studying to be a chemical technician. Eventually, he became Archbishop of Buenos Aires, but he continued to live a simple lifestyle, preferring to travel by public transport and prioritising the poor and the sick. When he became Pope, he plans to root out corruption and reform Vatican bureaucracy. He promised decisive action on the legacy of child sex abuse in the Church, though campaigners felt he didn't do nearly enough. He travelled widely, including to countries such as Iraq and Mongolia, which had never been visited by a pontiff before. In 2014, he managed to unite Palestinian Presidents Mahmoud Abbas and former Israeli President Shimon Peres, who both planted trees of peace in the Vatican gardens. He was no stranger to controversy. He compared European migrant centres to concentration camps, and he agreed to blessing same-sex couples, though he wouldn't support women becoming priests. He was a popular figure with world leaders and often meeting royalty, and he was even featured on the cover of Time magazine and Rolling Stone. He delighted two flight attendants on his plane when he agreed to marry them. And this iconic image perhaps sums up his personal touch, hugging a young disabled child who broke through the security cordon to meet him. The death of Pope Francis will leave millions of Catholics around the world without a leader, and they'll be mourning a man who is determined to use his 12 years of papal power to create a more inclusive church.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi mourned Pope Francis' death. In a message he said, "Deeply pained by the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. In this hour of grief and remembrance, my heartfelt condolences to the global Catholic community. Pope Francis will always be remembered as a beacon of compassion, humility and spiritual courage by millions across the world. From a young age, he devoted himself towards realizing the ideals of Lord Christ. He diligently served the poor and downtrodden. For those who were suffering, he ignited a spirit of hope. I fondly recall my meetings with him and was greatly inspired by his commitment to inclusive and all-round development. His affection for the people of India will always be cherished. May his soul find eternal peace in God's embrace. In Ahmedabad, Gujarat, a group of VHP and Bajrang Dal activists disrupted an Easter prayer meeting in Audhav, suspecting religious conversion. They entered with sticks, shouted slogans, and told attendees to leave. A viral video on X showed the chaos. Ahmedabad police responded, saying no kidnapping or violence occurred. Complaints were filed by both sides, but no FIR has been registered yet. The situation is now under control. In Madhya Pradesh, on 19th April, Bhopal's Christian community held a peace rally promoting unity and brotherhood. The event, starting at Bharat Mata Square and ending at Ambedkar Ground, drew strong participation from churches. Leaders like Archbishop Duraraj and Pastor Abhishek Pagare delivered inspiring messages praying for Bhopal, India, and global peace. The rally emphasized mutual brotherhood and community well-being.
Catholic World.
The Catholic Church in India mourns Pope Francis, the 266th successor of St. Peter, who died today. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of India expressed deep sorrow, praising his courage, compassion, and humility. The CBCI urges Catholics to offer a holy mass for his soul. A 9-day mourning period is set, with special prayers on the funeral day. Catholic institutions will close on the funeral day in respect.
The Society of Jesus mourns the passing of Pope Francis, who led the Catholic Church for over 12 years. Superior General Arturo Sosa honored Jorge Mario Bergoglio's life and spiritual leadership. Pope Francis championed dialogue, reconciliation, and solidarity. His encyclicals, Laudato Si' and Fratelli Tutti, addressed global suffering and promoted justice and peace. The Jesuits praised his hopeful vision for the world. The Vatican has formally announced that the official rites for the certification of death and the laying of Pope Francis' body in the coffin will take place tonight, marking a significant moment in the Church's liturgical process.